if you want the results, you have to do the work. It's plain and simple. So let's dive into today's episode. Gotta give a special thank you to our episode sponsor, Anchor.fm. Listen, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, Anchor is the way to do it. This is why. 1, it's free to get started. They have tools that allow for you to record from your phone or your computer, and they handle the distribution on all of the places where you find podcasts. So if you want to start a podcast, this is the one-stop shop to get it all done. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. You're listening to PowerBanking, the podcast for women leaders who work within male-dominated industries. I'm your host, Jacqueline Twillie, president at ZeroGap.co and author of the best-selling newly released book, Don't Leave Money on the Table, Negotiation Strategies for Women Leaders. Today's episode is all about doing the work. Now, there are so many cliche phrases about doing the work, and sometimes people get confused about what that actually means. So I want to share with you, as a business owner, as a leader who has led numerous organizations, what doing the work looks like so that you can achieve success and reach your goals. Over the years, I've worked with so many people who have set goals and not accomplished them. And I've worked with so many people who have set goals and accomplished them. Here's the difference between those who accomplish their goals and those who don't. Those who accomplish their goals, they do what they know they need to do, even when they don't feel like it. That's discipline. Taking it a step beyond that, those who actually accomplish their goals, they do the work. The things that may seem mundane, the things that may seem like it's stretching them out of their comfort zone, and the things that just are plain uncomfortable because maybe you have a difficult conversation, or maybe you have to sacrifice doing one thing right now so that you can do something that's going to benefit you in the long term. When I was writing my very first book, I adjusted my work schedule. I worked a full-time job, and I was leading an organization as a volunteer. So essentially I had 2 jobs, and I wrote a book in 6 months and it became a bestseller. And so when it comes to like understanding commitment, dedication, eliminating excuses, which is one of my favorite catchphrases because I'm drilling that into myself at all times. If you're going to eliminate excuses, you've got to get to the point where you are saying, okay, these are the excuses that have held me back, and I will no longer let them hold me back. Point blank, plain and simple. So let's unpack that a little bit. What are some practical tips that you can do to start gaining momentum to do the work? 1, you have to know what you want to accomplish. So pause this episode and write down, what do I want to accomplish? And if you need to think about this for a few days, that's fair. But if you're not clear on where you're going, you will be running around in circles. What will happen if you're not clear on what you want to accomplish, you're going to feel like you're running on a hamster wheel. Moving, but going nowhere. And going nowhere fast. Sometimes when you're creating your goals, you have to do a gut check. And get clear and ask yourself, why do I want to accomplish it? Is it my goal, or this is a goal that someone else has set for me? Once you're able to really unpack that, and then you'll be able to understand what your next step is. So, doing the work. Let's talk about a strategy session as an analogy. One of the things that people come to me for when they work with me one-on-one is they want a leadership coach, but they also need a blueprint. They need a game plan of how to get there. Now, there are people who have worked with me who have far surpassed me in their impact because once they got the game plan, they went to work. I'm going to share with you a story from one of my clients who was a member of my 12-month mastermind, the Thrive program. When she started the program, she had a full-time job, and she had been in that industry for 20 years. Subject matter expert. I mean, think about a woman who, who's like really good at her job and is very well known. That's this client. Well, fast forward months into the program, she made her transition, leaving her job, and she was working the business, and she was doing all of the things, but she wasn't seeing the results just yet, because that's normal. Like when you go to the gym, you don't expect to pop out with muscles after 2 or 3 times. You have to consistently go. She kept doing the work. She stayed engaged in her sessions, and now she is running an international company. Literally saw a post that she tagged me in yesterday on Facebook. She is in Kenya running her business. Last month, she texted me and asked if she could talk to me because it was something really important. And she just wanted to celebrate being in Washington, D.C. at one of the leading research universities in the U.S. And they're consulting her on the work. It was so phenomenal to see her do this. Now, let me give you the work that she did. One, she had a plan. Her goal was her goal. And then we created a strategy. Did she know how to do everything up front when we created the strategy? No. But did she figure it out? Did she learn along the way? Absolutely. That's the key. You're going to learn so much when you get started. What prevents a lot of women from doing the work, whatever that work is for you, is that they some type of way feel like they have to figure everything out before they get started. And that is complete rubbish. You actually have to get started so that you can figure it out. You just don't know what you don't know when you're getting started. Y'all, I'm getting so passionate about this topic because I just want to see people win. And we have a few months left in this year. We're going to end this decade and we're going into 2020. And for every one of you listening to this podcast, I sincerely want to see you in this year accomplishing a goal that you have been putting off. I want you to think about this. If you put just 60 seconds, 1 minute towards your goal every single day, from now until December 31st, guess how much closer you will be to your goal? If you put 60 seconds in, minimum 60 seconds, from now until today is today is October 16th, 2019. If you put 60 seconds in all the way to October 16th, 2020, guess how much you will accomplish? Don't play mind games with yourself saying that you're going to do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow becomes tomorrow, and next thing you know, you're going to be in the middle of 2020 looking at everybody around you wondering why you're not making progress. The way that you make progress is that you eliminate excuses and you start taking action. And you figure things out along the way. You get creative with what you got going on. So let me give you another step, very practical in terms of doing work. I just shared with you 60 seconds a day, figuring things out along the way. Google and YouTube, Pinterest are your friends. Google, YouTube, and Pinterest. If you don't know how to do something, if you don't have information on something, you can figure it out. 9 times out of 10, you can spend 2 to 3 hours going deep on a subject, and you will walk away with more knowledge than you started that day with. That will give you clarity to take the next step to accomplish your goals. Now, I want to share with you what I personally do to accelerate my success, to accelerate win after win. It's my secret, but it's really not a secret. Once I set a goal, I go at it. I do not care what people are going to say about me. I do not care if I'm not going to get it right the first time. I don't care if I have to do it 2 or 3 times. I know that if I get moving and I keep going, I will win. Now, when I talk about SMART goals a lot when I work with leaders one-on-one, one of the elements of SMART goals is that you create a timeline. And sometimes the timeline is not the end goal. Sometimes your timeline needs to be your daily process. That daily dialing in and saying, I'm doing the work today. It's not the end goal, it is the journey. It's the process that you go through. So if you're listening to this podcast episode, I want to hear from you. Send me a text to 678-774-9494 and let me know what you're going to accomplish in 3 months. I don't care if you're listening to this in 2020. I want you to text me and let me know what is it that you're going to commit to accomplishing by doing the work in the next 3 months. That's it for today, y'all. I'm so passionate about this topic. I could go on and on, but I'm going to wrap it up there. Until next time, continue to emulate excellence and eliminate excuses.